Busch Light is as cold and smooth as a mountain stream. Sounds refreshing, doesn't it? Head for the mountains of Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2026 Anheuser-Busch Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is George Lynch from Docket and a whole bunch of other projects, and you're listening to Jay Scott and the Hook Rock.
Picking up the jagged little pieces, pulling splinters from my bleeding heart. We were like a car crash full of reasons why we're better off apart. One of us can and you're the one. You were standing in line for the one that killed us. Fuck with my mind, baby, time after time. No, you never were mine. That's how you look. I'm alright, won't close my eyes. I could die, lose myself in yesterday. I'm alive, won't be going down that way you lie. Your lips were deadly. I won't let your demons wreck me. I won't cry, lose myself in yesterday. I'd love to say I'd hate to disappoint you, but from the bottom of my heart.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to The Hook Rocks. Another great episode in store for you today. I'm your host, Jay Scott. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, staying cool. We're in the throes of a heat wave across the country. It's going to reach up to the mid-90s today. I know it's, like 115 in some parts of California. It's just ridiculous all over. So we've got a few days before summer starts, but I think Mother Nature has different plans. She's ready to go, and she's bringing on the heat. Once again, I always mention that we are part of the Pantheon podcast family, the network of music podcast. Check out all the Hook Rocks episodes on Pantheon, old and new. You can go as far back as June of 2019. We are coming up on our 2-year anniversary. So please enjoy all the episodes. Write us a review if you so choose, and subscribe to us wherever you do podcasts. You can also enjoy other podcast programs on the Pantheon Network, like Mistress Carrie out in Boston, Vinny Appice and Carmen Apice. They have their own show. We also have Shout Out Loudcast, a great Kiss podcast, Martin Popoff, music historian, and Cobras and Fire, just to name a few. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and coming soon, our Instagram page. So look forward to that. And once again, a great episode. We offer music commentary, music interviews, and we have a great one today. We have the band from the UK, The Dead Romantic. How are you guys today?
Oh, good. Thanks very much, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Just hanging in there. It's really extremely hot right now, and I love the fact that someone invented air conditioning years ago, because it is a hot one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so nice here. We had a nice week last week, and then it sort of went back to the nice British weather where it threatens to rain every other hour.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm excited to have you guys on. And before we begin, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
So I'm Dan. I'm on vocals for Dead Romantic.
I'm Mike, play guitar. And I'm Chris, and I'm the bass player.
Awesome. And like we do with every episode, every time we have a new first-time guest, we always ask the most important question for the podcast. It's the essence of the show. Just like every rock song has a hook that sucks you in, every rock band has a moment, whether it's a song, an album, a band, or performance that hooked them on rock and roll. What was it for you guys?
Oh, man. Oh.
Go on.
Go on then, Chris.
For me, it was when my uncle first showed me Cowboys from Hell by Pantera. I'd never listened to any form of heavy music in any way, shape, or form, and he was just like, check this out. And it was just like, what is this? And it's been an obsession since then, basically.
I think for me, the sort of standout moment that kind of made me want to sort of perform and be like sort of involved in rock music was, I think I went to a Taking Back Sunday show when I was like 15 or something, and watched Adam Lazzara sort of do his thing on stage, and it was like mind blowing. And from that point on, I was like, I need to do this. I need to be on stage. I need to be making heavy music and making people jump around and fight each other and all that sort of stuff. So it was like, from that point, I was sold. I was like, I want to do this. This is what I would like. This is what I need to be.
Mine's not as cool as theirs. I think I saw Michael Jackson on the Victory Tour, and I think Jennifer Batten was playing guitar and shredding with him, and my mom had taken me to the concert, and I sat on her shoulders for the whole show. And I think I was like, I want to do that. I want to play guitar with Michael Jackson.
You can't say it's not as cool when it starts with, I was at a Michael Jackson show.
Yeah, mine's literally, I listened to a CD in a room.
Well, we all can't have the great rock and roll story, right? I mean, my first concert was Eddie Rabbitt, an old country western performer. And I went with my parents. I was like 4 years old or something like that.
Sounds like any sort of live music is just something else, though. Like, you can listen to an album and you can listen to a band or whatever on a record, but then to see somebody play well live is just something else. There's that energy, that buzz about it, and it just like, it's entrancing, really.
It is. I mean, you do become a fan of music or a fan of a particular genre, you know, when you hear the music on the radio, right? Or you see a video. I mean, back when I was growing up, videos were more prevalent. I shouldn't say they were more prevalent, but you had one sustainable outlet for videos, and that was MTV. So everybody watched MTV to hear what was the latest and greatest music, and radio stations followed that. Whereas before MTV, radio stations kind of broke bands and did all that stuff, and it kind of changed. But, you know, now there's so many platforms to listen to music, but when you do hear live music or you go to a show, it almost elevates the passion, and it elevates being a rock fan, especially rock music, because the shows are just so crazy, and the synergy between the band and the crowd is like nothing you can ever experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing beats like the drums blasting through a PA and just that kick you feel in your chest, and you can't get that anywhere from radio. It's one of those things you have to experience in person.
Yeah, you know, the kick of the drum, you know, the chord that opens up the show. I mean, I took my son to see the Rancateurs 2 summers ago, and it was in this hot auditorium. It was one of these old auditoriums up in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's about an hour and 15 minutes from Chicago. So we went up to Milwaukee to see the Rancateurs because they weren't playing in Chicago. So we get in there, and it's like middle of June, beginning of July, somewhere around that, and it's hot, like standstill sweating hot, right? And they make you, the band made everybody put their cell phone in a pouch. So not only were you physically present for the show, but everybody was mentally present, right? They weren't distracted by their phones or text messages or whatever. And they came out, and Jack White was fired up, and it was like a jet taking off, you know? And it took off, and we're walking out at the end of the show, and I look at my son, who was 14 at the time, and I go, that's how it's done. He's like, what do you mean? I go, that's how it's done. That's how a band comes out and just grabs the crowd by the throat and just kicks them right in the ass. And you know, that's a special moment, man. When a band comes out on stage and it hits you, like, and the hair stands up on the back of your neck, it's just it's an incredible moment.
Yeah, definitely. It's something amazing and intense and just like so exciting about just being at a show. I mean, it's one of the things that's like, obviously at this point in time, it's hard to go to a show, what with everything that's going on and stuff. But I mean, as soon as it all sort of opens up and everyone's free again, I'm out playing shows, going to shows, everything. It's like such a void in sort of the life of someone who loves music at this point in time.
Absolutely. We're a little ahead of you guys here in the States. When do you guys anticipate things opening up over there?
It was supposed to be last week, but it was delayed literally the day before by another 4 weeks. So it's supposed to be mid-July now, but you know, it's been so up in the air in the UK.
I don't think anyone's counting on it because we've been told so many times it's going to open, and then
this will be like the 6th or 7th
right before it's going to open, we go back into lockdown, and the cases are taking off again here with this variant. So I would imagine we're probably going to be thrown into another lockdown soon.
Is there a big push for the vaccines? Have a lot of people gotten the vaccines in the UK?
Yeah, they're rolling them out. I think there's millions of people that have got them. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's just
I mean, they have been talking about the variant strain, and how people are still getting sick even though they're vaccinated.
Yeah, that's the thing with this one is apparently it's resistant to vaccines, but you know, who knows? The medical community will say one thing and politicians say another. So
it is an interesting time. So hopefully soon things do get corrected. I know, you know, we're opening up. I do notice a lot of dates here in the U.S. are August, September, October. So I know there's some bands touring right now, but the majority of acts are planning for that late summer into early fall for them to get back on stage. And, you know, as a music fan, I can't wait.
Yeah, we're trying really hard to get on some of these tours that are going out. And I know there's a backlog of artists that really are gunning for the same thing. But that's our goal, is to get out there and start touring. And we've now put a couple shows in the books, so we're just waiting for things to start trickling in.
Now, what's your history with the band? How did you guys all come together?
I was going to try and come up with a really funny story there that was a lie, but I'm not quick enough.
We met on top of a mountain.
No, we didn't. So basically, Mike messaged me on Facebook, I believe. There was a video of me performing with I think singing like a Zeppelin tune or something on Facebook with a cover band. And he messaged and he was like, "Oh, I've got this thing that I've got an idea for doing. Are you interested in coming along?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I'll come up and have a look." And then literally like that week, COVID hit and lockdown happened. And it was like maybe like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't even know how long it was, but I was just pestering him like, when's your place opening up? When's everything opening up? Like trying to get up. And eventually we got together, started writing some stuff.
And then the band kind of fell into place after that.
Yeah.
So we started writing some material, and then it started going, like the first couple songs were kind of like, what are we going to do with this? I'm not sure you know, what this direction is. And then
the sound just wasn't quite right at first, was it? And then it just sort of evolved over time.
And then one of the early songs that we had written was Yesterday. That was one of the earlier songs. It might have been the second one or
the second one we wrote.
And we just stumbled across this sound and filled in the pieces. After that, we found Chris, and that was it. Now we're almost a year later, I guess. Under a year later, and the album's done, ready to be released, and ready for us to get the fuck out there.
Yeah. That's why we're waiting for the thing to just blow over.
How was the collaborative process with you guys? I mean, you guys all bring different influences to the band. How important was it for you guys to learn more about those those individual influences, and then also kind of merge them all together?
I think what the thing that was cool about it is that we didn't try to do anything specifically. It wasn't like we need to make it like this. We had our influences, and we were liking, we like some of the same types of bands and are influenced by some of those things. But as far as like studying each other's influence, we didn't really get into that. It kind of just poured out in what we did. And so, when Dan would sing something, he would draw from all those places that he had absorbed over the years. And the same for, I probably could speak for Chris too, like it just kind of comes out in what you're doing artistically. You can't help it, subconscious. And we didn't try to specifically write, okay, we're going to write this song because it has to be like this. I mean, there are songs where you're like, oh, we need an up tempo, or we need something a bit,
or like, oh, I've got this sort of concept and the sort of lyrically it's a little bit dark, so let's make it sound a little bit darker or a little bit moodier or whatever. But in terms of the writing process, we literally just sit down and go, okay,
let's write a song,
and then something comes out.
And then it could be just as simple as a melody and a chord change, and then we'll revisit it in a day or two and do lyric, but mostly it started with a melodic thing and some chord changes. And because, we have the benefit of having the studio and that I'm a producer, we kind of produced as we wrote. So we would do a song and then produce it immediately. We didn't get into this big pre-production phase of like, oh, let's learn our parts and do all this. It was just like, wrote it, record it, let's go, next song.
Which is really handy.
How was the beginnings of that? I mean, you guys are putting a band together. You're going to write music. You guys are all, individuals as well. And to bring that all into, a unison, one band can be difficult for some. Is it pretty much collaborative between all three of you? Is there music with, some of you, or lyrics for, some of you? How does that all work within the band, the structure?
I mean, there's never one way to do something. I mean, the majority of the writing is done by Dan and I, and sometimes we write with some co-writers. However, Chris will bring in an idea and go, hey, I got this thing. What do you think of it? And like, oh shit, the chorus of that is amazing. Let's rework the verse and turn this into something. But there's no like one way to do it. It just kind of happens. And the cool thing about these guys is like, how hard it is to find guys to be in a band with where there's chemistry. It was kind of instant. Like as soon as I started writing with Dan, it just felt like, oh, this is cool. This is comfortable. There wasn't like a thing that was like, nothing was forced. And then when Chris joined the band, it just worked. It kind of he was just like the perfect fit of the piece. So, it was, I think we just lucked out. I've been in a million bands that have been like, there's some fucker in the band that's just a problem, or there's something that just doesn't feel right and you kind of force it, or, you settle, but it just kind of works and we get along really well and we like hanging out.
That's the thing as well, is like the hang afterward. Like obviously you get down to business, you write, you rehearse, you're in the studio, whatever, but then the hang in between, the jokes that we can make, like it just seems like we just get on really well. I mean, it's like bands, I've been in bands with like friends from school and stuff, and the majority of the reason why it works so well is because you know each other and you get on, and it just seems like we've really, like Mike said, we've looked out in so much as we just get on, and that really helps with, especially with the writing process as well, because there's no fear of like someone saying, oh, what about this? And there's no fear to turn around and go, no, I'm not a fan of that, because there's no malice in it. There's no judgment. It's just,
and songwriting is always weird. It's always like, it's like you're getting in a room naked and like you're exposing every little thing, because, a lot of vulnerabilities and insecurities and things, you have to not be afraid. It's got to be kind of a safe place for that stuff to come out, where someone's going to, not judge you. I mean, we call each other horrible names and shoot each other down, but it's all in fun. And it's like, nobody ever takes one another too seriously. But when we get to the music and we're focusing, we're very serious about it. And it's just very professional, although fun,
As far as the sound goes for the band, How, did that happen organically, or was there a decision to go a particular route with your music?
A bit of both. I mean, we definitely said we want to make a record that's a rock record, and we want to have modern influence in it, and we want to have pop hooks. And it would be nice to have radio and to have some female audience and not just be like, hey, look at my riffs. They're the coolest. Yeah. I'm going to just shred for, so there was a bit of that decision, like, hey.
Yeah, there was kind of an outline, but not.
But it was like we wanted to be real. And then the sonic element kind of just came together as we started recording it. Like we wanted to have big drums. We wanted to have big guitars. We wanted to, not be afraid to do a guitar solo, and we wanted Dan to scream his brains out, but still, keep melodic hooks. And at the end of the day, we want to be able to go and play these things with an acoustic guitar, and the songs still translate as a song. But we're fans of heavy riffs and all of those kind of cool musical things that we could geek out on all day long.
I think it's like a case of like, I have certain sort of vocal styles that I think sound cool. Mike has certain guitar sounds that he thinks sound cool. We all have certain drum sounds that we think sound cool. We have certain bass tones, and Chris has a bass tone that he really likes. So we just kind of went, okay, well, you like that, you like that, you like that. Let's throw all that together and see what comes out.
Like a big melting pot, basically, just all threw stuff in there and stirred it around, and then this album came out the other end, basically.
Yeah,
and it kind of, all of our influences come from a similar place, so it wasn't like we had to force anything. It just came out that way. And then I also produced the record, so we were able to experiment a lot more than if you were on the clock in the studio and having to answer to someone. It was just like, this is what we're going to do. And
and we with that freedom, like we had the opportunity to like do some rewrites and stuff. Like there was a couple of songs that we started writing and then thought, this is not quite strong enough. It's not really going in the direction that we initially thought it would. Let's rewrite some stuff, and managed to sort of adapt and tweak things. And they ended up, actually, some of those kind of songs became some of my personal favorite ones on the album. So
Kiss with a Lie used to be a different song.
It's basically two different songs.
There was a track that we weren't too in love with. Like it was a similar chorus, but it wasn't quite there yet. And then Mike came up with the riff that is now the intro to Kiss with a Lie. And then we kind of just went, I like where this is going, and we followed it. And eventually, it went from changing one song into another song to rewriting a completely separate track. And then I'm pretty sure we actually ended up keeping the track we didn't originally like because we fixed that as well. It just ended up going on a bit of a crazy journey.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like, I think with that song in particular, as with most of the songs, we'd write a verse when we wrote it, and we'd love the lyric, but then we'd listen back and go, oh shit, this melody is not grabbing me the way that I thought it would. Or sometimes you get in Dan would go in the booth, and what we think would be cool before he actually sang out would be like, you know what, why don't we try this? It's more in your range, or more, more personality of this kind of thing. And then we tweak that melody, and that would become the new whatever, it ended up to be. But there wasn't a lot. It was pretty quick, actually. Most songs were done very, very quickly.
What's it like making music under the premise of a pandemic?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it was. There are times when you think on it for a little bit too long. Me personally, anyway, and you think, oh, these songs are so sick, but like now what? Like it was almost like that realization of, oh, we've got all these songs, they're all done, they're all ready, but now we can't go out and play them. Now I'm disappointed. Like
there's also a good thing about it though too, because of the pandemic, I was forced to not produce any other records. So I couldn't have like clients from overseas fly over here to finish their records, or have really anyone in the studio. We kind of just formed a bubble with the band. In England, we're allowed like a bubble of a certain amount of people. So we kind of made our safe place bubble that was legally allowed to happen. And that's what we got to do every day. So it was kind of a good thing because we could really focus on it and not have a lot of distraction.
However, the tone of the music can be different just because of what you're dealing with, right? You know, when you're seeing things on the news or in the media and things are being locked down and you can't see loved ones or your life is completely different, it affects you. It affects your psyche. It affects what you're feeling, and that has to come out into the music. Did you guys notice a change of maybe a darker mood, or did you guys force yourselves to, you know, have that brighter tone to try to, you know, look forward to something that makes you happy each day?
I thought about it. I think we just were so excited to do music that we tried to, like, when we got in the studio. I mean, we've definitely talked about it. We definitely had Sky News and CNN on in the studio sometimes, waiting for the next crazy announcement of, you know, when the killer virus was going to get us. But you know, maybe subconsciously it's like what made us more aggressive.
Yeah, I think there's one or two. I mean, the lyrics that I personally tend to write anyway tend to be pretty dark, just because, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit weird. But there are some dark lyrics in the songs and on the record, and I think that maybe some of them, you probably could say were indirectly influenced by what was going on in the world at this point. But I think we kind of used the opportunity to lose ourselves in the music rather than dwell on what was going off too much.
It's almost like almost when we like got in the studio and we started being creative, all that shit kind of went away. It was just like, oh, we're doing music. We can do music. They can't stop us. So we'll do that. And then, so yeah, I mean, it was even funny is that we wrote songs that we would like be like, hey, maybe we should make it darker and more edgy and cooler. We're being too fucking happy here. So I think maybe subconsciously, I think everything matters in life. Like anything that's a situational thing is going to influence something one way or another, but I don't think it was conscious.
Well, that's true because you are a product of your surroundings, right? I mean, you feel what your surroundings make you feel, right? Or the things you hear affect your attitude, it affects your decisions, it affects your personal tone. And I'm always interested by, you know, the answers of that question because everyone's got a different, you know, type of answer. You know, I interviewed Tyler Bryant last October, and he had a studio in his basement. And he just invited the band over to make a record, and they basically like just tuned out everything, right? They just tuned out all the noise that was out there. I mean, there were some toxic things happening here in the U.S., like the election. You had all the protests. So it was a crazy year, you know, along with the pandemic. And I just am so interested in just see how everyone bookmarked that moment in time, 2020, and if they view their music as kind of like a page out of their diary. So when they look back, they can look at the music they made during that time and see if it's different from the future music that you guys make and what else comes next.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it definitely won't be forgotten. I mean, we'll always remember lockdown, and we met over lockdown, so it's going to be something that we're always going to remember and kind of hopefully think of it as a good thing that happened and kickstarted this whole thing. That's a positive of it in it for me is that if it wasn't for that happening, this band might have not got together in the form that it's in now. So
as far as the state of music, we talk a lot on here about rock and hard rock and heavy metal's relevancy, and it has taken a back seat over the past several years. And there is a resurgence happening. There's a lot of new great music. There's a lot of new great bands that are coming out with music, coming out with albums, getting on tours. What do you guys feel? Where do you guys think rock and roll is going after a pause in 2020 and now having all these great albums coming out, all this great music being released? How do you feel about the state of rock and roll right now?
I think it's going to take off. And I said it at the beginning of lockdown because we're going to be so starved for live music and real organic stuff again. You know, the industry, as you know, has been saturated. Rock stations have disappeared. But it's almost like people during this time have like learned guitar and done these things and become aware of these young artists that are now getting into guitar music. And I think it's like becoming the new thing that's cool. And hip hop was so massive for a while, and rock kind of was like, oh, all rock's dead. But I'm really starting to see a lot of young artists playing guitars, like seeing Youngblood, who's a pop artist playing guitar, Machine Gun Kelly going like pop rock. Your Avril's coming back. What's that? The Canadian band with the girl Screamo. Yeah, bands like that are kicking ass. Architects. New record. Bring Me the Horizon
got the #1 vinyl. Release, didn't they? Like #1 selling vinyl. And which was like the first time in years.
Wolfgang Van Halen coming out with his record going #1 in all formats. It's just like, it's so awesome to see.
I think guitar-based music, be it very heavy or not too heavy, is definitely coming back into the mainstream again, like Youngblood and Machine Gun Kelly. But the last #1 album in the UK was by Architects, who are a technical like metal band in short, really. And then a few years ago with Royal Blood, they blew up in the UK very quickly, and they brought riff rock back into the charts, and they've kind of paved the way for music that was written around a guitar as opposed to say a keyboard or some sort of like MIDI based instrument is kind of coming back into the forefront. So I think it's a good time right now. There's a cool hybrid thing going on, and a lot of bands are like integrating like the cool pop elements and the synth stuff, but with modern guitars and big drums and all those things. And I think it's going to translate live really well when people can get out and play again. I think you're going to see like really diverse artists or sort of really diverse audiences that might like hip hop come to some of our shows, or I think that's one thing we try to do with the record too, is like make it where anyone can really listen to it.
I mean, it's a weird one to bring up, but the Eurovision Song Contest this year was won by a rock band from Italy, and they're a genuine rock band, like sort of new metal style, and they won that competition, which is essentially for the last few years been pop songs.
It's also important for angst and anger to be a part of it, especially in the youth, right? When every time, rock does thrive is when there's an outlet for that anger, that angst in the youth, right? And nothing pisses a teenager off right now, a 15, 16-year-old, and sitting at home under lockdown, not being able to be around their friends, not being able to live their life and have fun. And it does cause that angst, right? And rock and roll has always been there. It's always been that middle finger.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with that 100%.
I feel like the UK probably is approaching a bit of a
fuck you
angsty period. I mean, we're a very politically divided country at the moment. There's not a lot of people who are central in terms of their thoughts on things. It's very, you're either this or you're that, and because you're not the same as me, I don't like you anymore. There's a lot of that now in sort of the generation around my age, like mid-20s and coming up to 30s and maybe younger. And then also, everyone's been locked in their houses for a year, so we're all going a bit crazy.
There's going to be frustration, and there's going to be anxiety, and there's going to be anger. So, maybe rock music will absolutely blow up, like even more than it already is.
It was always there for me too when I was growing up and being a teenager and having that teen angst and looking for, that music that spoke to me. Some of these teenagers may have gone into the pandemic and in the lockdown hip hop fans or pop music fans, but after a while you're listening to that stuff and you need something different. You need something to spark your interest because you're doing the same things every day. You're in a room, you're on the computer in school, you can't see your friends. And like you said, there's so much great new music out there. And I just think this is just the beginning of what's to come. And I think there's so much good rock music. It's almost, inconceivable that it wouldn't return and be relevant again.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many great bands as well that have used this time to create albums, and there's so many good albums coming out at this point in time in rock music. So
I think that's the biggest flaw on the industry side from a label perspective. There's a massive rock audience out there, and for some reason, the new A&R model and the kind of the new talent search model it's kind of like not working. They're missing so much talent. They're, the Clear Channel way of like, hey, let's play the top 5 pop songs in high rotation and not give anyone anything new. I think that's going to change, and people are going to start finding things on their own, and those things will force the industry to go back to almost like reset a little bit.
When you think of social media and the importance of the platforms in getting your music out, you guys have had some success in doing that. How was the approach or the plan for you guys in getting your music out to new fans and people that like your music?
I don't think there was much of a plan.
And then
it was just like
hire some PR. We put the record out on my label with distribution through Sony Orchard. So we had a really good distribution means, which helped with releasing the video. So I think we were lucky enough to have that to help us get the video seen by enough people. I mean, but we're a new band, so we're still building a fan base. We haven't played shows really. Our first show is coming next Friday. So we haven't had any opportunity because of lockdown to grow a grassroots fan base. So we kind of we're like, let's get some PR, let's throw some songs out there, and hopefully the music will turn on some people to our band.
Yeah. And
hopefully they'll check it out and come and see us live.
Yeah, and just keeping the social media up to date and just posting stuff on there to allow people to see us and sort of, I don't know, get to know us a little bit through little bits of videos and content and things like that, because we can't do that in person at this moment in time. So just maybe some videos of us fucking around in the studio or whatever, put them online. And people seem to have sort of enjoyed it, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're getting really good responses and great video views, but we still have a long way to go, and we still have to get our music out there. So that's the other thing is the Spotify and social media is so inundated with so many different bands. It's hard to get to the top of that and hard to be seen because you have to search through tons of things, and he who has the most money and the most marketing always wins kind of in that thing. So we're doing our best to kind of be an independent band and break through that, to rise to the top of that and be seen. So we have a lot to learn still, I think. And I think the key is just getting as much content out there and as much music and just be true to what we want to do.
Consistency and hard work.
It almost feels like there's a double-edged sword too. It's great that there's all these platforms for people to find your music, but at the same time, it's almost like there's too many platforms. Right. And it's hard for a new band like yourselves to focus on all of them equally. Right. Because they're all pulling you in different directions. And, some areas of the world use this platform more than other areas of the world. And it's almost like there's, for someone that's going on trying to find music, it can be overwhelming for people.
Yeah, totally. It is for me. I'm always trying to find the next coolest rock band to listen to. And if it doesn't get thrown right in my face, there's probably some amazing stuff that I'm just not getting to because I can't find it.
And there are so many options available to you. It's like you could stumble upon a relatively new band. Let's say it's the debut album. You might only give them 10 seconds of your time before you go, no, I don't like this. And you'll go on to the next thing just because there is another thing to listen to, as opposed to if everything was a bit more slower, you would have to give this band a chance because there isn't another 40,000 bands for you to check out today. It's like, do you want to listen to everything all at once, all of the time?
That's the biggest difference, because I remember when I'd buy a new album, I'd come home, I'd go in my room, I'd put it in the stereo, and then I'd lay on the floor with the album and I'd listen. I wouldn't be skipping 20 seconds in, 30 seconds in or whatever. I'd actually listen to the album because number one, I wanted to hear the music, and two, it was kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to get up and fast forward the song every time something didn't grab you. So it was almost like you had to have that relationship with music where it wasn't just a simple click to move on and go forward. And it also affects too live music, because if you're going to see a new band or someone's asked you to come with them to go see a live band perform, a lot of people will go online and they'll do samples of whatever their music is. And if they decide that they don't like them, they won't give that band a chance to see them live, because it's just not how we think now. Whereas, the difference between seeing a band live versus the studio recording has always been so much different. It's so much more life in the music. And I think people are doing themselves a disservice by not allowing that opportunity and giving that music more of a chance.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. And it's hard for us too, as a new band. We're trying to get shows, and, we have great response on what we've released, but promoters are like, so you haven't played any shows. So where can we see you? Well, we're a new band. You need to give us a shot so that you can see our show. So, there's always that too.
What's next for you guys in terms of new music?
The album's coming out. Hopefully by September 3rd is the release date. We got a couple more singles before that we're going to release. Some more videos that are already shot and ready to go. We'll be releasing some live content, and then I think, we'll behind the scenes stuff, maybe some acoustic versions, maybe some live in the studio, and hopefully getting out on the road and actually playing and seeing the rest of the world when this stuff opens back up and allows us to do that.
When do you anticipate, when do you start releasing new music again, another single? When do you anticipate that?
Our next single is scheduled for 24th of July. That's right. That sounds 23rd, 24th of July. It's called Fight Me is the next single. 23rd of July. 23rd of July is the next single. That's how great our memories are. Yeah, so Fight Me is our next single, 23rd of July. And then around the time of the album, so September 3rd, we're going to drop a fourth single. Yes. Yeah. That will be called Stay High. And that one, we had Zach Cervini mix that, who did The Architects, Bring Me the Horizon, the new Youngblood record. He's killing it right now. He's doing everybody. So we thought we'd have him mix one of the songs on the record. And we're really proud of that one. And I think that will be our, hey, here's our radio song. Yeah. Kind of poppy. Yeah. I think it's the one that sort of transcends the genres and things, I think. So I think a lot of people will love that. It's our stadium rock track. Yeah.
It's the anthem.
Yeah, that's the one. It's really the anthem. It really is. It's called Stay High.
Stay High. Well, there you go. I mean, with everything being legalized here in the States, that song should go over pretty well.
We're hoping so. Exactly. Got to get Snoop in the video.
There you go. Well, Michael, Dan, Chris, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having us on. It's been absolutely lovely being here. Well, being here and you're there, but speaking to you has been lovely.
No, I appreciate it, man. I really love the music, and I can't wait for the new music to come out, and hopefully at some point see you guys here in the States.
Yeah, as soon as possible. As soon as we can find a tour to get on over there, we're going to be doing that.
Awesome. All right, everyone. The band is Dead Romantic. I'm Jay Scott. This is The Hook Rocks, the ultimate rock community podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay cool, and we will talk again soon. Thank you.
Why can't you just look me in the eye and stop trying to save me with your lies? You try to pretend we're okay, but there's no way. Bring the rain. Stop me with the truth. There's nothing left to lose. I'd rather say goodbye than be kissed with a
911, what's your emergency?
You need to send the police. He's gonna kill me. He killed all the others.
Who killed the others? Ma'am?
He found me.
Primate, now streaming.